The Real Opinion is brought to you by Rainstorm Car Wash. Get in and get clean today.
Hey Central Illinois, Geno Reynolds here to tell you about one of the better sci-fi movies to come out in a while, Pacific Rim. Growing up, I was a fan of cartoons and shows involving giant robots or giant robots versus monsters, Transformers, Voltron, Power Rangers, etc., etc. I'd watch anything with that stuff in it, and that's why I was very excited for this movie. So let's see, this thing has giant monsters, check. This thing has giant robots, check. The giant monsters fight the giant robots, check. It has incredible effects, check. To me, that sounded like a pretty good setup for a decent sci-fi movie. The only concern I had with this movie is that the story would be weak. Well, the story isn't mind-blowing or anything or totally original, but it is very entertaining, at times a bit different than I thought it was going to be. The movie begins in the present day. A portal opens in the Pacific Ocean and a giant alien, or kaiju, comes through. Our military was able to take it down, but it took hours and cost thousands of lives. Over the next few months, more monsters come and more lives are lost. The world's countries put their petty differences aside to come up with a new kind of defense. We created monsters of our own. The Jaeger program is created. These giant two-pilot robots help us turn the tide. For 7 years, we are winning the war. Jaeger pilots become celebrities and kaijus become toys. We keep up the winning until something changes. The kaiju start to get bigger and smarter. They begin to win. For 5 years, they are tearing the world apart. We're down to our last Jaegers. For a fan of sci-fi, this movie is a lot of fun. It is one of those movies that made me feel like a kid watching Voltron growing up. While not a perfect film, all my fears about it were dashed pretty quickly after the opening scenes before the credits. I was happy that there was a lot more going on than just giant robots versus giant monsters. There is a decent, although not original, story here. I like that the monster attacks have been happening for a long time and that it didn't just happen. The story is pretty decent, but not all original. There were some original elements, such as the mental handshake that it takes to get the two pilots to be able to pilot the Jaegers. That being said, I didn't really expect total originality here. This movie was written and directed by Guillermo del Toro, so if it wasn't going to be a totally original story, I knew it would be an interesting take on a certain style, and it was. Del Toro is behind some of my favorite movies, the Hellboy films and Pan's Labyrinth. So if the idea isn't totally original like Pan's Labyrinth, it would at least be a good adaptation of a genre like Hellboy. I'm just happy that they didn't get Michael Bay to do this. The biggest and coolest thing about the movie, of course, is the giant battles as well as the designs of both the robots and the monsters. That is where my faith in Del Toro came in. Both the battles and the designs of everything are outstanding. The fights are big and hard-hitting. Watching a Jaeger smash in the face of a kaiju is pretty incredible. I also love the way that the Jaegers moved. This wasn't like Transformers where they could do anything they wanted as fast, or in the case of Michael Bay, in slow motion as they wanted. The Jaegers were big and powerful, but they had their limitations. Also, a lot of the movie took place in Japan, so there is a very anime feel to the film, which I really liked. For any fan of sci-fi, this is a no-brainer to go see. It has cool action scenes, creature and robot designs, a decent story, and an interesting look and feel to it. I really want to see it again, but maybe this time on an IMAX screen. Make sure also to check out The Real Geno, the new home for The Real Opinion on Facebook, and The Real Geno on Twitter. There you can get the real first impression, which is my first impression of the movie just after I watch it, sometimes days before my written and TV reviews. But remember, it's only just one guy's opinion. I'm Geno Reynolds from The Real Opinion. Until next time.
The Real Opinion is brought to you by Rainstorm Car Wash. Get in and get clean today.